Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President JDEdwards, Lyle Ekdahl.
Morning, everybody. Morning. I see we have a few still shuffling in. That's okay. I just got to get set up here a little bit. Just share with you a little bit about the state of ERP. This is not quite right. There, well, Ward, the light bulb's out again. Now, see, this is not going to work. This is not going to work at all. Do you realize that this used to be the state of the art? Well, it's not today. We want to be digital. This would be like me coming to your warehouse and using a 3-part paper form on a clipboard, right? Going to your manufacturing site and manually working the machines. It's not the way it has to be. In fact, we can come to the present right now, and all it takes is the flip of a switch. So welcome to this year's JDEdwards Keynote, where we're going to focus on customer success. Collaborate is a great time for education, networking. You get the JDEdwards product updates. And thanks to the Quest Oracle community for putting this on. I love the new location. It's fun to get a little change up, right? A little change up, new room, new city, right? Oh, and I have to make sure that I mention and wave a hi to all the people that we're streaming this to live today. So, one announcement right up front. And that is that we have a new Profit magazine that will be hitting the digital airwaves tomorrow. Our 2019 JDEdwards Profit magazine, which features more customer stories from Sal Sensei, Recology, and really talks about the journey to being digital businesses. Now, I'm interviewed again in this year's publication, this time on what it takes for strategic change. We have an article by our own Ward Quarles on platforms for innovation, and of course we have a tribute in there as well to Mr. John Schiff. So it is available, as I mentioned, tomorrow digitally on learnjde.com. We're trying to reduce the paper, reduce the friction, right? It's sustainable. And so with that little announcement, let's go ahead and kick off today's keynote. I have a little video for you that I'd like you to watch. So you see from the video that digital creates connected, agile, and real-time business. Digital, it is real, and it is now. Today, we'll highlight 5 customer stories that are really all about this transformational journey. See, they look at JDEdwards as more than just a repository, more than just a set of financial transactions. They look at the applications themselves as creating advantage by digitizing, looking at advanced job forecasting as a way to get a better handle on your earned value. Looking at the new inventory processes as a way to reduce stockouts. Looking at joint ventures and how we better partner with others to cover costs and share revenues. And even looking at digitizing the latest in legal requirements, things such as the new lease accounting standards. Now, if you want more product information, there's a way to get that this week. This is not a roadmap session, this is the success session. But if you want to see what it takes to go on this journey, what are the new things that we've created, then I would really encourage you to attend today at 3:15. Bob Monahan and Gary Gracehaber will plot that journey, help you plot that journey to the digital present through the roadmap section. So, there's lots of information out there today in the public sphere around creating digital strategies. But there's less information about practicality. How do you actually go about executing a digital strategy? You want to move beyond the strategy itself to the transformation to enable a digital change. Again, we could start at JD Edwards itself. That's the heartbeat. It's the center of the system. And it's more than a system of record, as I said. It's a platform that enables this digital transformation. Digital delivers on effective customer outcomes. It's where innovation sits in the intersection of customer experience and your business operations. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the components today as we look at these 5 stories. But at the heart of many of these, at the foundation of many of these, is a new element that we've brought to the forefront within the last several years, and that's something called the JD Edwards Orchestrator. It is a profound and significant enhancement to the application suite because it transforms how the JD Edwards system is used and how its data is collected. We can move from manual data entry and increase the value of the data itself. It's also uniquely positioned to leverage capabilities of other data sources. So with that, I promised you some customer examples, and we're going to deliver today. So first up, I would like you to all welcome Wilker Costa, who's IT manager for Sal Sensei. Wilker, come on up. There he is.
Good morning.
Good morning, Wilker. How are you? Good to see you. So let's go ahead and start here. Sal Sensei, this is not a name brand here in the United States. Tell us a little bit about the business.
Yes, here we not good brand, not no brand. Sal Sensei produces 20,000 tons of salt each month, contributing to Brazil's position as seventh largest producers of salt globally. We serve 3,000 customers in industrial and retail in Brazil and Latin America, and employ approximately 600 people.
Okay, so you're in the salt business, all right?
Yes, salt business.
But you guys went on an interesting journey. You really transformed your manufacturing, and automation was at the heart of that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what cultural barriers, because I'm always interested in sort of where the human element, right, interacts with the automation element. So what cultural barriers did you guys find that you had to overcome?
You know, Cabo Frio is a beautiful place with wonderful beaches. And of course, the people prefer to stay there than work in a salt factory. It's obviously. And after decades of doing some things in one way, some users initially resistant. But we working we use into Orchestrator to automate our manual process because the data is more accurate and in real time, on time. And today, we don't have to worry about human error anymore.
Okay, so we basically, what we did is we took the mundane out of their work in the salt factory, and we added automation to what they do, you know, obviously in creating, you know, greater satisfaction. So in the background here, we have some of your automation running, showing the manufacturing processes. But tell us a little bit about the innovation that's going on behind us here.
Yes. We're using Orchestrator. In 2016, we implemented the JDEdwards Orchestrator to control and manage the manufacturing process. From work order released in the shop floor to work order completions, all steps were automated. And today, there are no human interaction in this process.
Okay, so what we've done is use Orchestrator in a basic IoT scenario or Internet of Things scenario.
IoT scenarios.
Okay, so how has this innovation allowed SalSensei to meet customer expectation?
Salt is a commodity product, and to be a leader in the Brazilian market, you need to have a strong brand, a high product quality, and deliver excellent service. Our innovation has allowed to the company to maintain their market dominance and meet our customer expectation. In fact, now we are able to go ahead.
Okay, so I think you can see a full video of all your automation out on YouTube, so feel free to go search for it. So what knowledge does IT need to build these orchestrations?
Our experience shows us, and a good business analyst can build orchestrations. They need to have a basic knowledge about JDEdwards structure, programs, and functions. And for complex orchestrations, maybe you will need a good developer because you can join orchestrations with Java or Groovy scripts.
Okay, so we can start off with simple building blocks, just having some knowledge of JDEdwards, but we can get more sophisticated over time with these algorithms and put them together right, into more sophisticated operations. That's fantastic. So do you believe that orchestrations also play a role in integration, systems integration?
Yes, I believe it will, because it's easier to do that. And you need less time to do an integration than the traditional solutions. The cost of implementation and the cost of development and maintenance is less when you compare with traditional integration codes.
Yeah, fantastic. So you saw how SalSensei took Orchestrator, helped transform the JDEdwards applications, improve their productivity, and actually modernize their decision-making. So thank you, Wilker, for coming. I guess you have another presentation on Tuesday at 12:45. I encourage you all to go, and don't forget about the story that we have on SalSensei in the Profit magazine. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so if Orchestrator is one of these components that help you realize a digital strategy, certainly UX plays a big role. And of course, we've had an offer in the marketplace for some time. It is a series of role-based solutions that enable better decision-making and accelerate user adoption, and this is referred to as UX1. It really helps you put digital representations of strategic data in front of your users and allows them to operate in an alert, analyze, and act format. And it allows them at the end of the day, therefore, to be more efficient. What comes along with this offering, and of course complements it, is a set of tools we refer to as citizen developer tools, so that you can personalize and actually create your own experience. Form personalization actually lessens IT backlog. It reduces steps in your business processes, and it helps you eliminate customizations so that you have simpler upgrades. So with that, what I want to do now is bring our next customer up, and this is Krishna Muthur Permal, who's the Director of Enterprise Applications for Martin Marietta. Come on up here, Krishna. Morning.
Morning, Lyle. How are
Doing,
you?
bud? Good to see you. All right.
Too.
All right, so again, Martin Marietta, maybe not everybody knows exactly what you folks do, so why don't we start by just telling everybody here a little bit about what you all do for a living.
Absolutely. We are not in a fancy business. We break big rocks into small rocks and we sell them. But we do it very well. Right. We have about 400 operations across all of the U.S. and also Caribbean and Canada as well. We have a hybrid cloud strategy. We run Enterprise One on-prem, and we also have Fusion Procurement on the cloud.
Okay, fantastic. So you all were an early adopter of UX1, is that correct? So tell us how you're using that today.
Absolutely. UX1, what it did is it enabled us to change the way users go about their day in the life. A picture speaks a lot more than what I can describe,
Okay.
even though I tend to talk a lot. So you will see in here, what UX1 did is it enabled us to create persona-based landing pages where users can now see, and the system actually tells them what they need to do, when they need to do it, and everything they need to do for their business is right in front of them.
Right.
Both alerts and analyze and act, it's right in front of them. It fundamentally changed the way user behaves. And it enabled us to even change the perception of ERP, JDEdwards in particular.
Okay, so, but correct me if I'm wrong, a big piece of your overall business focus is actually on the front end of the process, which is more of a sales process. How did UX1 play a role in that?
All right, now people are going to think I'm crazy. So with all this armor in our pocket, what we did was something probably not many people thinking about. So we took on Salesforce.com.
Okay.
So we brought in the CRM into JDE using the UX1, using the UDO, E1 pages, alerts, all of these things. We actually built a full suite of CRM capabilities into JDE, and we were able to actually show it to the business that this is not just a concept. Right? It changed the behavior of what we can do, because we are, like you were saying, it's not just a financial repository, right? So we used to have all the data, we always do, we still do, but now with these tools, we were able to put it in the customer, in their hands, customers meaning our users, in their hands.
Okay, so I see the design components here. We've got data visualization, we've got alert, analyze, act, and you've also added some social components here as well. How else are you applying this technology?
That's a great point. So like I was saying, one of our sales rep, when they pull into parking lot, before they go visit a customer, they can pull up the previous one that you saw, the Customer 360. It's going to show everything about the customer. It's even going to show the customer's latest Twitter activities. What are they doing? Okay. Are they buying something? Are they building something new? We built, using all the orchestration capabilities, links out to Slack, links out to Twitter, links out to everything, so we can do collaboration much better.
Fantastic. And I see you've also provided them a basic sales funnel, right, as well?
Correct. This is another persona-based landing page.
Okay.
The sales managers can go in, and then they see how are their sales reps doing, right? So they can get one view, pretty much, to see who is lagging, where, who needs what, and they can see all of that in their homepage.
Okay, so this is pretty impressive stuff, Krishna. But let's focus a little on the overall adoption that you went through, and then worker productivity, and really what did the business gain out of this effort?
Absolutely. With the user adoption, it was initially a concept, right? So when we said, okay, we're going to take on Salesforce, because there were a part of our business was pretty into Salesforce. Not everybody is. Not everybody is in CRM either. But everybody wanted the data. So when we built all these wrappers around JDE using the data and put it in front of them and proved it that we did a POC first. So we proved it that it's not just a concept. It's easy, it's quick, we can deploy it, and it's all in-house.
Okay.
So that actually helped with the adoption. It wasn't as big of a challenge as
It really changed the way they do work, right? So now we're gonna manage and we're gonna work by exception, right? As opposed to having to, sort through a whole lot of things within the system itself, right? So
Yeah.
manage by exception is a big piece. Now, let's talk a little bit, because there's a juxtaposition here. I thought I heard you say that you've actually pushed tools down, right? And you're really actually doing citizen development. So talk to me a little bit about this strategy for Martin Marietta using personalization as opposed to customization.
Sure. So we're pretty big. We operate in a lot of different district model, and there are a lot of nuances around how the different districts operate. So we also run HR payroll, and we are one of the early adapters of lease accounting solution into JDE. So which meant we can't put ourselves behind on not being able to upgrade. So that's where the personalization helped us. In fact, as a matter of fact, when we went on our roadshow, so to speak, to present the solution, the big piece of the selling point was you, as the user, can do all of these things yourself. Be it a personalization, grid personalization, form, the advanced queries, push it out, all of that. That was half the battle won right there. That was a kind of a game changer for us.
Okay, so now tell me a little bit about what the inner motivation is, or the passion that you may have for deploying new apps and technologies to that end user community.
Simplification. If I can define in one word, it's a simplification. Our CEO, he was telling us, we don't want to be just the top rock company. We want to be one of the top companies in the world. And he believes that IT can be one of the biggest enablers for that. So, and for what we do a lot of automation in the field. So we do even drones. We use drones to see what is our inventory when there is a hurricane, what's the impact using that. And we do like a toll tag like operation to get the trucks routed and all of that. So there's a lot of technology used in the field. So for us, the three things. For me personally, if I can define, it's the simplification. It makes our life easier. Total cost of ownership is better. And then the simple to use. Right? I can put all of these pretty slides, but if it's not simple for users to use, I'm not going anywhere.
Right. So I love the passion. I love the fact that you have a great vision for where you want to be, and that's helping to drive your digital strategy as you implement it. We thank you so much. We've shipped over 50 role-based these role-based landing pages for users to help you leverage better decision-making and to make your processes more efficient. I invite you to attend Krishna's session. It happens today at 4:30 on standardizing, simplifying, and transforming CRM with JD Edwards. So thank you so much, Krishna, for joining me up here.
Thanks for having me.
Give him a hand, guys. Okay, so the third component we're going to explore a little bit is the cloud. Have you heard of this thing called the cloud? It's another thing. It's real, right? And you may have heard from Oracle sales executives, right, that ask you to move to the cloud or move to SaaS. Well, even though we all have to honor those calls, we don't have to fear the cloud, right? The cloud is just an enabler to digital strategies. Our overall strategy in the JD Edwards development team is to offer you choice and control, whether it's on-premise, a hybrid cloud, or surround strategies. You can leverage your existing JD Edwards investment for as long as that meets your business requirements. You can also select cloud components that then can complement that solution. You don't need to rip and replace JD Edwards to get to digital. We can help you reduce IT constraints, and it's about implementing what you need when you need it on your schedule, according to your business drivers. So let's look at another customer success. This is Glesby Marks, and they have a great story to tell about Enterprise One 9.2 and a hybrid cloud. Plus, you'll note that they're using other digital components, Orchestrator, UX1. You'll also see some mention in here about mobile. Now, their CEO, Emily Stoller, couldn't join us this week, but we have a video that's going to explain their journey, and how they transform their overall customer experiences. And please note the references to JD Edwards and those digital enablers we've been talking about. So let's go ahead and run the video.
Glesby Marks is a vehicle and equipment fleet management company. You're not in the vehicle business? I am. So you go and do your job and let me do mine. I can find the vehicle quickly and I can typically get it for you at a better cost than you would be able to get it. And then we also take care of all of the other services for you that you don't have the time for: license, registration renewals. We use various other vendors to provide our fleet management. So for instance, our fuel services, fleet maintenance. We work with a GPS company. And if you can see how you use your fleet, we can become a better company for you, because we can help you with replacement cycles, which can lower ultimately your cost of ownership.
We identified what we needed because the customer and the stakeholders told us so. If you can do this, I am happy, he's happy. So everybody gets a win out of this. Once we started getting into it, it became very clear to us that the modern cloud solutions, along with getting JD Edwards from on-premise to the cloud, was the right answer. We looked at Content and Experience Cloud as a portal solution and also a content management solution at the same time. We realized we can give the customer a unique experience of building their own fleet. That becomes a request into the internal salespeople of Glesby Marks, who now know what to do with it and carve out the best deal for the customer. Because we are embedding CPQ now within Content Experience Cloud, we are able to store all the documents being generated by CPQ within Content Experience Cloud. So when CPQ is done, it creates the fixed asset in JD Edwards automatically. We can now enact that whole orchestration that we have for the quoting process all the way to proposal generation on a mobile device using Content Experience Cloud. So that is an area that Glesby has highly benefited from in terms of being able to talk to customers during their site visits, and nobody has to go back to their desktops and log in and do it separately. They can all do it together, configure the vehicles together, look at problems together, solve problems together, and take action.
It was exciting for us to be able to work with technology that actually worked together. It's now just a few fields that the person on the JD Edwards team now has to fill out. That's a huge time save. And it's in real time. You don't have to wait for a human to sort of push that information. In real time, these products are now talking to one another.
When the customer logs in, they are able to look at all their vehicles. They can actually click on a particular VIN number and a lease number that we have in our portal and see real-time IoT data in terms of temperature, in terms of driver safety, in terms of violations that have taken place, any tickets they have gotten.
My sales guys are still so important. They care about their customers. They want to hear how they're doing. They want to help them plan. And it ended up being that these products that we implemented are doing that. They're enhancing us. They're not replacing us.
We brought in health metrics for the customer. The website clearly shows you your fleet is at about an 85% risk. That has opened up conversations around, can we suggest to you, this is the mix that you should be on? How do we get you down to the healthy mix?
We want to be sort of an extension of your business because we don't want you to have to worry about it. And we've done business like that for 42 years and it's worked.
So Glesby Marks leveraging digital enablers that we've discussed today and that are available on release 9.2. They used Orchestrator for integration of machine data. They also used it as a communication interface to some Oracle PaaS solutions, including Content and Experience Cloud and CPQ. And then mobile helped them move strategic data and desired business outcomes closer to the workforce and to the customer base. You saw E1 pages and Cafe One data coming in from multiple sources, both inside of Enterprise One as well as coming from outside third-party providers. Glesby Marks has a session called Extending JD Edwards with Content and Experience Cloud and CPQ Cloud on Tuesday at 2 p.m. I want to invite you to join that as well. And we want to put a special thanks in there to the partner PCB Apps for helping to position these digital technologies within their deployment. So, there's a common theme here beyond digital. and that is 9.2. All of our customer stories to this point have that in common, because the closer you are to 9.2, the closer you are to realizing your digital strategy. It's a platform, and you need to get there. Then have a philosophy, and then take that philosophy and build a strategy, and then you can start to innovate and drive outcomes. It's not to be seen just as a technical upgrade. Applications we've been looking at are actually going to be critical to your success. And this transformation is possible, but you have to start and you have to get moving. It doesn't happen on 9.1 necessarily, or anything before that. Now, I'm not going to make you raise your hands because I don't want to do a shaming event here, but I know by looking at the statistics that over half of you in the room are not on 9.2. And we just think it's a great opportunity for you. So with that, what I want to do is bring up our next customer success story. I'm going to bring up Rajesh Ranabor, who is the senior architect for Edwards Life Sciences. Come on down.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes...
Good morning, Rajesh.
Morning, Lyle. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you again, my friend. Okay, so we are going to talk about your journey to 9.2, but again, most of these folks probably don't know what Edwards Life Science does, so we'll start with that.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
All right. So we are a patient-focused medical device company working on structural heart diseases and critical care monitoring. We have 8 manufacturing sites globally,
Okay.
and offices in 38 countries.
Wow. So this is a single global instance, is that correct?
So we have about 3,500 users globally.
Uh-huh.
In addition, we are using multiple languages, customizations,
Okay.
and bolt-ons.
All right, so big footprint.
Right.
So let's go back to the beginning of your journey. Why upgrade to 9.2? Were there some strategic goals you were looking for and some technologies that allowed you to get there?
Yeah. So we wanted to stay on the code current and the supported version of JDEdwards. That's why we launched on that expedition.
Okay.
Our strategic goals were we wanted to take advantage of the improved UI, performance benefits that came with an upgrade on 9.2, and the new features that were there in the 9.2.
Okay, so how long did this take?
6 months.
All right, so yeah, there's got to be some tooling. I mean, 6 months hand on keyboard. You did planning first,
Yeah,
right?
there was planning first, but
Okay.
6 months is like
6
pure
months
execution.
Execute.
Right.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the technologies that
Yes.
you use?
So we wanted to leverage the simplified upgrade approach, and we used the custom object analyzer to find out the code changes that we had been making. That was the first thing that we used. Secondly, we used oaths for load testing of the system for performance. And additionally, we looked at UPK, and we used that for training the users globally on using UPK.
All right, sounds like a lot of best practices that folks that aren't yet on 9.2 can certainly take a look at to help them with their journey. But now let's look at sort of the other end of things. What did the business gain by getting to 9.2? Or was there new strategic products that you adopted and any other improvements that you guys looked at?
Yes, so right off the bat, we started using the favorite folders, which were not there in the previous release. So favorite folders allows the users to set their functions by favorite in the
Okay.
folders. Then we started leveraging even pages in Cafe One.
Okay, so just making the system easier to use.
System making easier. So we
Right.
got that in our lease accounting and supplier portal. So that's where we are using even pages in Cafe One. Additionally, we are also looking at advanced queries and a little bit of one-view reporting.
Okay, fantastic. So we also expect our customers then to leverage Enterprise One as a platform
Right.
for digital transformation. So is that in the plan?
Yes. So we did wanted to take the advantage. Now that we are on 9.2, how can we leverage the upgrade to our benefit? So we are actively looking at pursuing the mobile tools for our warehousing operations, especially improving the efficiency and the speed of shipping and receiving operations out there. And then we are also looking at the other two possibilities out there. One is prioritizing the use cases on IoT, which will benefit us a lot, and notifications using the orchestrations.
Well, thanks, Rajesh. I mean, this is a great story about how you really updated your business and received great benefits from the 9.2 release. So you just heard Edwards Life Science discuss that 9.2 upgrade.
Right.
Thanks a ton, Rajesh, for your time up here.
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand. All right, as I said, I'm not going to shame anybody here. I'm not going to make you raise your hands for how many of you are on older releases. But you can see there's great benefit in getting to 9.2. And the other huge benefit is, we are committed to providing not just premier support, but premier support and enhancing, continuous enhancement, new features on 9.2 till at least 2030. That's a huge benefit. So what are you waiting for? Of course, with continuous innovation, we have to look at you for continuous adoption, if you will. We look at our partners, and we have some strategic ones that are actually stepping in and helping our customers stay current. We're automating everything. And we have a bigger vision for where we want to go with this. And we're looking for our customers to follow us and regularly use, try, implement the latest things. So digitize your processes. Don't think in terms of big bangs. Think in terms of iterations. And speaking of continuous delivery, again, please join Bob and Gary this afternoon for the roadmap session so you can explore what your journey might look like and what the pattern might look like as you go on this road to 9.2. All right, so while we've been out here, how many of you, and now I'm going to ask you to raise your hands, how many of you looked at your mobile device while I was up here talking? Yeah, don't be shy. Of course you did, right? I'm not upset, right? Data on our digital devices is strategic, it's expected, okay? For many of us, it helps us have flexibility to rapidly execute in real-time critical tasks from any location. So today, what I want to do is announce a new digital strategy for JD Edwards. And to do that, I'm going to bring up on stage Angela Enyart from our JD Edwards product team. And please welcome Angela. Here she comes. All right, if she looks familiar, you might recognize her from last year's keynote. Yes, I made her come up and give us a demo. This year, no stress, no pressure, no demos. We found another victim.
Yes.
But I do have some questions for you around this new mobile strategy. So, Angela, do you remember back to 2013? I mean, 6 years ago. That seems, seems like it was just yesterday. You came to me with a rather aggressive idea. Do you remember that?
I do, and it was quite scary at the time
to
bring you such a proposal.
Yeah, so what you said is that you had a hypothesis that we could build 100 mobile apps in less than 2 years. So why were you so confident about that?
Well, there's a few things. First, it was also around the time when Daryl Shakespeare also brought you a proposal for the thing that ended up being the orchestrator.
Okay.
The other part of that was we worked very closely with the Oracle mobile team, and they were just delivering their new mobile platform. And so with that collaboration, we were able to deliver almost 100 apps.
Okay.
We did over 90.
We did over 90.
Yeah.
All right, and we did that in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's 6 years ago. Clearly, technology has moved forward. So tell me about what's changed.
So first, the orchestrator has evolved quite a bit, and as we've heard from a lot of the stories here already, it is a center point for how we're enabling our customers towards digital transformation. Another aspect of it is that companies don't want to have to rely on professional developers using something like Java to build that front end.
Front end, yeah.
And so the emergence of low-code, no-code development tools are now available.
Okay.
The next thing is that artificial intelligence and machine learning have become much more accessible to incorporate into applications. And so also as part of that, from a mobile standpoint, users are looking for more of a conversational experience. They're used to, text messaging, and so having that turn into a chatbot on the mobile device is just very familiar. It makes things a lot easier to use.
Okay, so that is a lot, but it's a lot of really compelling stuff. So what is Oracle, and more importantly, what is my development team going to do about this?
So first, Oracle has released several low-code, no-code development tools, for that front-end piece, so that companies can get away from investing in those professional developers. It's really expanded the pool of resources who can go and build those mobile apps. The other thing that Oracle has done is they released the Oracle Intelligent Bot platform, which we actually used last year at Collaborate for a live demo, where we introduced Edward to you.
I remember that pesky
Yes.
little pup. Yes, okay.
And so what we did was, within a composed page, you saw an accounts payable manager being able to have Edward help him get through that financial close process much more quickly.
Okay, fantastic. So, can you boil the strategy down like into 3 main takeaways for the audience?
Yeah, so it all revolves around us giving our customers a lot of choices now in how you approach your mobile strategy. So letting you pick the development tool that you prefer, the one that your non-professional developers can use to quickly build those apps. We also want to make it very easy and quick for you to be able to do that. So with all of that, Orchestrator will continue to be the center of the mobile development universe. So we'll continue to expand that. The other thing is we are going to get out of delivering out-of-the-box mobile applications. And what we're going to do is give you the enablement to build them more yourselves. And so we're going to do that by creating samples that you'll have access to. So the first part of it is you'll have ideas around the type of interface that you can create, but also we'll show you under the covers how we actually built it. And so you can use that again with the orchestrator to use Oracle's low-code development tools or whichever one you pick to get that done.
Okay, well, it sounds like a great strategy. It sounds like it's highly leveraged and allow us to get to much more than 100 apps out there in the marketplace. So with that, we want to show everyone what the future of mobility looks like, right?
That is true. So we're doing a lot of research right now. There will be more that you're going to be hearing from us. But also today, you're going to see a live demo where we've taken Edward and put him in a mobile app.
Oh.
And so you'll get an idea of what that conversational chatbot experience looks like. And so users can get away from more of a transactional experience and something more familiar and efficient.
All right, so now you got me intrigued, so I'm going to let you exit the stage. Everyone thank Angela. And to continue our mobile discussion, I'm going to bring up Irvin Rhodes, who is also from our product team, up to the stage. Come on, Irvin. Hey, Irvin, good morning. How you doing? All right, Angela just really intrigued me, okay? So I understand that you have a demo to share with us today.
Yes.
and it has something to do with, I heard, bots and mobile solutions. Just from you first, personally, what role does mobile play in a digital strategy?
So Lyle, what we want to do is we want to get this technology into the hands of individuals on the front line, such as a shipping supervisor. So what I want to do today is I want to show you a demo of a shipping supervisor who gets an alert that there's a certain amount of shipments and tonnage that are ready to be picked, and he's going to check and see how much tonnage and shipments are already ready to go, and then he's going to make a request to Edward, our bot, to start reaching out to people to get additional labor to come in and help, and we're planning for tomorrow.
Okay, all right. So this sounds like a demonstration that's going to involve a bunch of JD Edwards functions, right? So this is pretty standard stuff.
Yes.
But we just have a new front-end interface to that to interact with.
That's correct.
All right. Show us your mobile solution.
Okay. So here we go. So as a shipping supervisor, let me just log onto my device here. Security is key. All right, so I get a notification that comes to my device, and this is a notification that runs an orchestration that does a check on these shipments and how much tonnage I have to pick.
Okay.
And so when I get that notification, what I want to do now is I want to engage with our mobile bot, Edward.
There he is.
There he is, that's him, yes. So when I tap the chat bot, I'm going to ask it to check my tonnage. So I'm a shipping supervisor. I may be at lunch. I might be in a meeting. But I just got this alert, and so now I want to engage with Edward. Check tonnage. So now what Edward is doing, Edward has launched an orchestration that goes out, interacts with transportation management, and brings back information that's related to number of shipments and how much tonnage I have. And so Edward is asking me, do I want to plan for additional labor? Of course I do. So I tap the yes button. Mm-hmm. And so now what Edward is doing, Edward is running another orchestration, going out to the address book, locating all of my employees that I've designated as a temporary employee, and bringing that information back to me.
All right.
And so now you see on the screen I've got pictures of the people who I can interact with.
Do you have a favorite?
Of course I do. Let's see. There he is.
Okay.
Fred Forkleaf.
Okay.
So he's one of my favorites. So I have the option to call him if I want because he's my favorite before I send out this text message. But I'm going to send a text message to everyone anyway.
Okay.
And so Edward has asked me, do I want to send that text message? Of course I do. So I tap yes. So now what Edward is doing is going out and getting my configured text message that I want to send to everybody. But it also asked me, do I want to add an additional note?
Okay.
Because this is a pre-configured text message. I just want to pass on some other information as well.
Okay.
So I tap yes. Edward asked me to insert my note. Please let me know by 4 p.m. today. So now, Edward is preparing my text message for me. He's already sent it. And he asked, may I be of further assistance? I don't think so. So I tap no. So, because I requested additional labor today, I have a safety training meeting that's scheduled for Thursday of this week.
Okay.
And because I requested that additional labor, Edward goes out, looks at my calendar, and says to remind me that I have a safety training meeting scheduled for this week. And then it sends me a reminder asking me, do I want to reschedule that training?
Okay.
And I'm going to say, yes, I do, because I'm thinking it's going to be busy this week. I'm going to push it out to the next week.
So safety comes first, so we got to get the training in.
We can't neglect it. That's right.
Let's go ahead and move the schedule.
Okay. Reschedule for next week. So I do that, and Edward will come back and tell me that he's rescheduled the meeting for me. Ask me, do I need further assistance? Of course I don't.
One smart
I just
little
say,
pup.
no. He's smart.
That's fantastic. Now, that was a whole lot in there, all on one little mobile device. So can you sort of summarize what we pulled together, all the apps and technologies that are behind the scenes there?
Sure. So what we did was we used the Oracle Digital Assistant. We also used Oracle Mobile Hub along with the Orchestrator Studio so that we could create all of those orchestrations that we kicked off.
Right.
And so they interacted with transportation management, warehouse management, address book.
Yeah, so base JD Edwards functionality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And keep in mind too, the bot integrated with my my Outlook calendar to send me that reminder.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Irvin, thank you so much for that mobile demo. Now, Wednesday, I guess, you've got a session that you're going to deliver a little more detail on JD Edwards' mobile capabilities as well as mobile strategies. So I want to invite everybody to attend that session, all right? So thank you so much for joining me on stage today. Great demo.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. I thought that was fascinating. So look at, we're on this evolutionary arc, right? That started with ERP as a central hub of transactions and data, but really moves us through to intelligence, right? And it does that through a set of stages of digital. So you can use the data to create intelligence in your ERP, as you saw there, as an assistant, right? And something you maybe supervise. But our vision is that intelligent ERP will help eliminate human interaction, unneeded human interaction, right, through these layers of automation. And it results actually in more human value and focus. There's reliable long-term improvement when you apply automation to your processes. Again, they can learn, we can continually optimize, and we can evolve. We can remove compression or compress our processes and remove the friction. And it also allows us to get better speed to market with better outcome-based decisions. So, this is all like you heard from Glesby Marks earlier. These software robots or bots are actually implemented at higher layers of the technology stack. So they're actually applied where human actions actually reside. And so you're not really having to touch the underlying applications and the IT infrastructure. So in our view, intelligent ERP is not just autonomic, meaning it's self-healing on the back end, but it's also about the intelligence and the digitization of the processes themselves. And we do have customers that are using JD Edwards in this fashion today, and I want to explore some of those examples. So to do that, I'm going to bring up Raisa Case from Stanley Engineered Fasteners. Come on up, Raisa. Raisa, how are you?
Hi,
Good
how
to
are you this morning?
See you. Okay, so we are going to talk about Stanley and how you implemented process automation, or what's referred to as robotic process automation with Enterprise One. But before we do that, again, let everybody know what you all do. I mean, I recognize the brand, but tell us a little bit more about the business.
Yeah, it's 100 years or more of the brand, I believe. So we're one of 3 divisions in Stanley, Stanley Engineered Fastening. And we deliver world-class advanced fastening systems. We design, we build them, and then we also manufacture the fasteners themselves, metals or plastics. Mm-hmm. And you'll have our fasteners in just about everything around you, like your automobile, your iPhone, your airplane.
Everything needs to be fastened.
Everything needs to be fastened. And some of our brands are like Gripco, Helicoil, Pop. So we have about 10 plants located in North America. Okay. And we have approximately 300 concurrent users, 900 named users.
Okay.
And we are still on 9.1 applications, but we're
Uh-huh.
using 9.2.1.4.
Okay, here's a strategy where we're actually leaning forward into the tools to help
Yes.
solve some problems. So tell us about the business challenge that faced Stanley.
Well, Stanley, as a large organization, has a robotics process automation team.
Okay,
All right?
pretty futuristic.
Yeah, very futuristic, very innovative company.
Yeah.
And so that robotic process automation team looked at a situation we have in the business where we have large amounts of consolidated journal entries coming from Blackline. And they were sending those out to all of the businesses as Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, boy.
And, yes. And they were being, and some of them are 10,000, 20,000 lines.
Okay.
And they were being uploaded via Excel into
Okay.
JDEdwards. And that took 3 or 4 days a month.
I bet that doesn't sound anything like some of you out there, right? None of you have that in your business.
I'm sure they don't.
So a lot of manual, right? Error prone, those sorts of things. So what did you do to implement automation? How did you innovate to solve this particular problem?
Well, the robotics automation team went out looking for volunteers to take on this process, and we volunteered because it sounded like fun, number one, and number two, we have the orchestrator.
Right.
So they use Automation Anywhere, which is a bot farm.
Okay.
I heard that Oracle also has some bot
Yes,
farms
we
as well.
also have that technology.
And they have a out-of-the-box JSON bot.
Okay, well that's good because we speak JSON.
Right. So
Yeah.
so that was like a light bulb, right?
Uh-huh.
So what we did is we worked with that team, and we said, okay, we're going to give you an orchestration JSON for the GL entry, and we'll also have that orchestration call the GL post.
All right. Okay. So, so how long did this take to put together? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so we used an individual from ERP Suite
Okay.
who assisted me with this.
Uh-huh.
So it was basically him and myself.
Okay.
It took a couple days to build the orchestrations and about a week for testing.
All right.
And then we were live within 30 days.
Wow. Okay. So that's live and in production.
Live and in production since May of 2018.
Okay. So what are the savings then to Stanley based on this effort?
Well, it's 40 or more hours a month, as
Okay.
well as the individuals. It was 2 to 3 individuals that were doing this at the end of the month,
Uh-huh.
and they no longer have to do any of this. And unfortunately, I can't give you a demo because they all run in the background. There's nothing for you to see.
Nothing to see. Nothing
Nothing
to
to
see. All right. So that sounds like you probably needed a rocket scientist, right, or one of these fancy data scientists to do this work, correct?
Well, no.
Okay.
We didn't need that or a developer.
Oh, really?
Matter of fact, we utilized my knowledge of the software as far as the processes.
Uh-huh.
And then I had an individual from ERP Suites who
Right.
assisted me on this, who was, this was last year, he had just come out of college with a psychology degree.
Even a psychologist can do it. It's
Even
that
a
simple.
psychologist can do it. And he had no experience with finance or
Okay.
JDEdwards, or for that matter, orchestration, and we were able to accomplish this within 30 days.
Wow. So basically, just basic knowledge of the system, sort of understanding the set of rules that you're trying to process, and you guys were able to roll this out.
Yes.
Fantastic. So do you have any other examples of places you want to go with this kind of technology?
Well, now that the robotics process automation team knows us, they are now reaching out to us to move into other areas of automation because, obviously that's what gets them their bonuses. Is
Oh, okay.
do more robotics and process automation. So our next one that we're looking at is, from a global perspective, Stanley has network terminations that go through ServiceNow, which is the ticketing system. And what they've found is that Sarbanes-Oxley would really like us to automate that process instead of manually keying in another ticket for the ERP termination.
Right.
So what they have asked us to do is to, ServiceNow has a JSON capability with a bot as well. So when the network termination goes in, then that bot is going to send that information through several orchestrations on JDEdwards to terminate that employee, which will then solve or at least streamlines the Sarbanes-Oxley audit process as well.
Okay, so from financial close to compliance issues, you're seeing that the use of bots in line with JDEdwards can help solve those business problems.
Yes, using orchestrations to leverage the bot.
All right, so thank you, Raisa. I think it's a thrilling story, very innovative approach to using bots, again, on business processes. And these are what I would call great examples of intelligent ERP. We think JDEdwards can help actually learn those business processes, be an assistant to you, and help you gain the efficiencies that you're looking for. Certainly compression of time being one of those, and again, reducing errors that are caused by manual input. So don't forget, Monday, again today at 4:30, you're going to give a session, a little more detail about your digital transformation and how you put it into action. So thank you, Risa, for your time today.
So much.
Everybody give her a hand. Okay, salt manufacturing, turning big rocks into little rocks, right? What else do we see here today? Somebody that's in the field of genetic medicine, right? That's kind of interesting, or at least medical manufacturing, fasteners, right? We've got the ability to digitize, because we believe that digital transformation is real. It's here, and it can radically alter the value equation in the marketplace between a vendor and a customer, or between partners and suppliers. We're at a stage in the marketplace where waiting is not a strategy. Success requires you to think about what your innovation philosophy is, what your strategy ought to be, but more importantly, what outcomes are you trying to deliver? Is it product quality? Is it better customer satisfaction? Is it lower costs? Focus on what strategy you're trying to implement for your business, and then how the technologies that are embedded within JDEdwards, the heartbeat of your business, really your business's digital twin, if you will, can help you accelerate towards a transformation in the digital economy. I want to say this is a great opportunity. Collaborate is all about us sharing with each other and networking. A lot of great sessions here. Many of them are about how companies have transformed themselves and created a digital presence. Thank you for joining us today, and have a great conference. Thank you.